So this is a parting blade holder, and it has an angle in the bottom here, and the corresponding blade that is broken has some angles on it. Whether you can see them or not, I don't know, but top and bottom it has angles, about 15 degrees. Now I've bought a new blade, two new blades actually, and they're both 26mm, this being a 19 or 20mm, whatever it is. And they have 60-degree angles on them. Now that won't matter on this top section because that has got around about a 60-degree angle on it. Oh, and a nice mark from the chuck it in it. But the bottom has the 15-degree angle in it. So I've got 6 or 7mm to take off and to put an angle. Let's go and have a look at that. So here is the blade, and as you can see I've laid the other blade across it and made some scribe lines. The way I did that was I lined up to the semicircles and scribed the lines, and obviously this blade is not equal both sides. Quite frustrating. Anyway, this is an SPB26-3, so that's 3mm opposed to the 2mm. On that you may be able to see the angle because it's a bit wider. Yeah, I think there you can see the angle. And this is 60-degree angle. So, as I said, I wind it up to the back of these circles, so that semicircles. So these two tools, I know there's a millimetre difference, should be approximately the same centre height as the other tool once I take the notch out. Now you can see the scribe lines there. I'm not going to notch it all the way out, I'm going to leave it a little bit thick towards the ends because you never have to put it all the way in, although you do like to push it out a bit further. So that's what I'm doing. You don't want to stick it out too far, so I'm guessing that amount taken off will be good enough. So I need an angle, 15 degrees. First I took the milling vise, the grinding vise, the precision vise, what you want to call it, to the surface plate and measure the difference between the top of the highest surface and the top of the plane here, and that's 25mm on this particular vise, which is 9/84 thousandths of an inch. So I added that to what the engineer's handbook said, whatever it's called, the Bible, to the 9/84, which gave me 2278. So I've got 2278 stacked up there, and I've got my 5-inch sine bar across the top of it. I'm just going to have to run a gauge across it backwards and forwards until I get it close enough. Alright, I've messed around with it for around about 4 hours now. Amazing, it was really quick. And now I'm just going to wind it across the other side. Might be a bit shaky, but you're getting the idea. The gauge isn't moving. And to prove that it's definitely engaged, because you can see there wasn't much movement there, we'll unlock the quill a little bit. So unlocking the quill a little bit, coming in, and I'm just going to bring the quill back. I'm just going to zoom in, quick light. Oh, why? There, zooming in now, I'm pulling the quill back. There you go, it's off the part. So she was pre-gauged in. So that's 15 degrees now, I hope. I'm just taking what the machiner's handbook says as gospel, and that should be 15 degrees. I don't know if it looks 15 degrees or not, I don't care, I'm just doing by the numbers. I hope you can see the line there. What I plan to do is just mill off down to that line. That's the top line of those two. and then just flip it round and then put the 15-degree angle on the other side. I don't know if this is going to work or not, I'll soon find out. I want to leave it at that setting. I want to change it around in the vise now, so I'll get rid of some of these chips. Hopefully I can turn that around if I can find the Allen key. Hopefully I can turn that round and it be just one cut across the other side, but that is yet to be seen. That will be 30 thou. That will be plus 30 thou. So the trigonometry didn't work out for me. That is close to centre, and that is a total of 30 thou. I might just put it back in the opposite way, and no, that's alright. That's close enough to centre to be good. Now I ain't sure, but that should probably be touching now, so I don't want to be doing too much of that. I'll have to unlock the wire, the X on this as well. So we'll come in. If you can see those lines there, I'm just going to come down and start grazing it until it's full depth. And I'm just going to go in and plunge in at it. Let's see if this little vise can hold on to it. This could be the end of it all. No, I'll be alright. We'll be careful. Here we go. Well, it's not touching yet. It should be pretty close at that. So, that's 30 thou. I think that should suffice. We're going to go to there. Yeah. That's how I thought it should have gone. So clearly I think we've adjusted the angle slightly, because that is perfectly straight down the centre, exactly how I wanted it. But it's probably around about 13 degrees. Not to worry. I am going to get the round foil out now, round these edges out, and then I will go and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, then I'm going to buy a new one and do all this without you watching. No. It's going to get used, I can assure you. And round file just to trim these edges up and make a nice radius in them, so there's no stress risers. And should be a good one. Should be a good one. That's looking pretty good. I'm liking it. You can see it all from there. Let's take it out and have a look. I can clean the voice up, put it away, and la 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 la, and all the rest of that good stuff. There we go. Can you see that? Yes, you can. There. One modified parting blade to fit mine. Hopefully that's about the right kind of width. 1920mm. Let's check it. It is. Oh, it's 21.4. So yeah, I'm just going to go and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, that's 21.4. I'm going to take another millimetre out the bottom of it. Right. She's in, she's loaded. I have a tray of new bits. I haven't cleaned up the edges yet, I'm just champing at the bit to get at it. It overhangs a little bit at the bottom. Got to set it up on the centre height now. I took another, what was it, 60 thou off the top edge of it, because this top plate's still a little bit of an angle, but it's pretty good now. So yeah, I am inserting the first tip inside it, and that's it. It is in. It will force its way further in. Of that I can be sure. Now I'm making a tool here. What was that rocking around? I don't know. I'm making a tool. I don't know how long it's going to be, any of the dimensions of it at all. I'm just making it up as I go along. Hence I'm not really recording it, it's just one of those tools that you go, I'm going to make, and I won't even finish it, but oh okay, I figured out what the sound is now. Anyway, we're parting. Now to part properly, it's sometimes best if we square the parting blade up to the job. So I have a pretty square block of steel here. It's very square. I have a chuck which is square to the axis of the lathe, hopefully. I have a loosened off tool post. I have a lock stopping me from going too far to the tool towards the whole job lottie. Right, that is pretty square. So that is squared up again. That will do that. Okay, square. Right, for a start, let's see how far off of centre we are. We're a bit high. Can we adjust it? Not that span. Adjustable spanner will do. Oh my word. How many things can I touch which are inappropriate? Still a bit high. that is as far down as it goes, so let's hope that is somewhere near. It's still a bit high. I don't see that going down any further than that, so I might have to take some off the bottom of it. I'm gonna push it in a little bit. Hopefully it will jab it down a little bit, and that'll give me some more of the image. That might be a bit fast. Just wait for the belts to warm up because they make a bit of noise for a start. Right, we're going to lock out. Let's see what kind of reaction we get from this then. Let's see if that has brought it down at all. No, still too high. So it is no good. I am going to have to take some out the bottom of it. So I will go ahead and take some out the bottom of it. So I've dropped another millimetre off of it, and we've hit the wrong lever again. Yeah, now it's slightly below centre. That is good. Well, it's not good, but it's okay. And now that looks like it's on centre, so I can only just achieve centre height on it. But I can achieve centre height on it. I had some chatter before, so we'll try back gear. Here comes the noise. It's quite a long stick out, to be fair, so, and it's a 3mm wide cut. That's back gear. Something's happened and I think the tip's broken. Yep. And we all know what that will mean. Yep, that tip is shattered. But I would say I could probably break that off now. Because I can. So it wasn't let up. The surface finish at that speed is rubbish. But I've managed to part in 1.5 inches all the way down to that before breaking my tip off. I wasn't trying to break my tip off, but you know, it happens. And it certainly happened just then. So that's the N8. You know, it's not much more tough than the N3. It's just mild steel. Nothing special. It's a medium carbon, low to medium carbon steel. And it's broke my tip off. Oh well, these things happen, like I say. So the project doesn't really matter, and the piss poor pathetic holding of the thing doesn't matter. What does matter is how I'm getting by this. Now you'll see a 50.8 and a 0. That's the X movement. And there's a little 49 next to the 50.8, and that just tells me what the dial should say there when I move it to where these lines line up. So you've got 2 ticks there, and 2 ticks there, and then 2 ticks there. They should all line up. And then we've got some more gump around here. So they result in that hole there is that number, that hole there is that number, that hole there is that number, and you guessed it, that hole there is that number, and they're the number that the dials are on. And these are all clockwise and they're all anti-clockwise. And then I've got a load of lines down here. It's just I've got a head torch, so let's turn it off. And they all correspond to those numbers. So you've got a double line here with 46 next to it and a dot above it. A double line there without a dot above it, should have a dot above it with 02 next to it. Another double line there with 34, and then a treble line here with the 78. And obviously when they get close and I've got the numbers lined up on the dial here in the clockwise rotation orientation, that is when those will be in line. So let's watch me do that and try not to naff it up. Okay, we're in for the kill. It's 3.5mm drill. I don't know how tight it is. Not very. Make sure it's tight. And I'll find the tool to make it tight with. It is tight now. Do I have enough travel? Yes, I do. I could give myself a bit more. Okay, let's lock it up with that. I don't know what you're seeing because I can't see that, so I'm just going to move you and the camera might fall out. There we go, I can see now. So, first hole is the last hole that I put a centre in, which I use a 6mm spotting drill. There we go. Now I don't want to press too hard because it will drag it out from the clamps, and I think I heard a little dink then, so I've got to be careful. This drill is sort of sharp. I'm not entirely certain. Right, so I'm going to undo the y-axis, which might or may not have been undone already, and then we're going to move back really quickly. Pretend we've got DRO, then move forwards into that mark, and that one should be O2. So bring it round to O2 and lock it up. And obviously I'm using my eyes to look here to get really close, and then bring it down to the thing there, and then just check, yes, it's all looking good. So I've checked here, I've checked here, and I've checked here. So that's that one. Now we're going to bring it back to this hole because we're close to this one, so that'll be 34. And I'm not over it, so I'm just going to be using my marks here. And that'll be the 34 mark. So bring it up to 34. Let's bring it back a bit further than that and bring it up to 34. So when I bring it across in a second, so that's the X movement done. Let's get the Y movement out of the way. And we shall be bringing that back to 0, but it's going to be in the anti-clockwise direction. So we'll get that close, go past the mark a little bit, and then bring it back to a 0, and that'll be there, and that should be lined up beautifully. Now, to be fair, I've got 2 more of these blocks. I could just slip one in close to where I'm drilling, but that's diverging from this little how-to which I'm showing you. You don't need a DRO, you just need some patience. Then you can go back to your holes again and again and again. Now this is a movement to 46. I'm using my mark down here and looking up here. So this was a clockwise rotation on the front, anti-clockwise on the other side, on the X. So we're coming up close there, we need to go to 46. That's all lined up, that's all lined up, and that looks in line. So there we go. Now let's take a look at how we got on. I need to see what's happening here. We'll zoom in. So that's the hole I've just done. No worries. Now the project here isn't of any importance, but what it is there's a 20 line by 4 line LCD display going there, a 16 line by 2 line LCD display going there, an Arduino Uno hole pattern put in there, and a keypad going in here. So there'll be a keypad on the front here, and the instructions in what the keypad does is going to be displayed on the screen, and the Arduino Uno will be in a standoff underneath the keypad, away from the keypad. And then there'll be other things in other areas. So this is going to be a wall mounted control panel for remote access to some of the controls on my solar that's in the attic, so I don't have to keep on climbing up the attic to do certain things. And also there may be 2 Unos in here, and I might, because I've got so many solar panels, monitor the time of day, monitor the lighting conditions, and depending on time of day and lighting conditions, turn off some of the solar charge controllers and divert their solar panels to other solar charge controllers, switching off the ones where I've diverted it from, leaving on the ones I've diverted to, thus making those panels work longer into the evening, because I have got an awful lot of panels. and I want to utilise that extra power later in the evenings.